porcini paste. Just going to run through the ingredients. So we've got white wine, some dried porcini mushrooms, got some catering mushrooms, portobello mushrooms, some peeled Spanish onions, nice bit of garlic and some fresh rosemary. So I'm going to show you how to make a really intense porcini paste. Once you've got all your ingredients ready for your porcini paste, first thing we're going to do, we're going to bring the porcini and just soak them in the wine. Just get them to start opening up their flavour, and then we won't lose any of the porcini flavour because when we reduce the wine, they'll open up as well. So that's the first part. The next part is actually prepping the vegetables. So for the catering mushrooms, we're going to fry them off whole, so we don't need to cut those. The garlic will go in whole as well. The onions we're just going to slice down, and the mushrooms, the large portobellos, we'll just cut into quarters. So we'll start running through some of that now. What's going to happen with this is going to be a paste, so this doesn't need to be precise in any way, it's just to speed up the cooking process. So all we do is prep all the onions, roughly like that. The portobellos, we just go into quarters, and then we can start the cooking process. So to start the cooking process, a bit of rapeseed oil. I'm going to get all our onions in there first. Start the cooking process. Remember always to add the salt as soon as something hits the pan. There's a good bit of salt. Opens up the onions. So once the onions have had a couple of minutes head start, we're now going to add our garlic. Just whole cloves is fine. Just let that cook out for another 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, so the onion and garlic is now cooked off, so we're now going to take that out of the pan so we can start frying the mushrooms off. So what we're going to do is just pour it out onto a tray. The bits that started catching on the bottom of the pan, that's fine, because later on in the process we're going to add white wine and that's going to pull all that flavour off the bottom of the pan. So this is now ready to start frying the mushrooms off in. So once the onions are finished, we're now going to start frying off our mushrooms. We'll start with the portobello, so just cut them up into the quarters. So going back into the pan, some more rapeseed oil, and then we're going to pop all the mushrooms in. And then all we need to do is put some salt on top of them as well, start opening up the flavour again. So that'll take about 5–10 minutes for them to cook nicely, give them a stir occasionally. Okay, so the portobellos are now cooked, so we're now going to take them out of the pan, and then the final part is frying off the catering mushrooms. So I'm just going to take these out. A nice bit of colour on those, really adds to the flavour. If they're too pale, you're not going to get any flavour out of them. So it's now time for the catering mushrooms, final mushroom for the porcini paste. Got a little bit of oil in there, and then we're literally just going to tip the mushrooms. So I haven't cut the mushrooms or anything, we've still left them whole. I'm just going to pop a little bit of salt on them as well. Just draw the moisture out of them so they colour up nice and quickly. Okay, so while the last batch of mushrooms are frying, we can add the rosemary. All we're going to do is just pull it off the stalk. Try not to get any of the woody parts of the rosemary in. So the catering mushrooms are there now, they're nice and coloured. Smells absolutely amazing. I'm now going to add the portobello mushrooms and the onions that we've already cooked off back into the pan. Give it a good stir around. And then next to go in is our the white wine and the porcini that we soaked earlier. You can see they've now changed the colour of the wine. The porcini's gone nice and spongy, so we're going to add all that into the mushrooms in the pan there. Just make sure you've got all of those out. That's what we do now. Let that reduce down until the wine pretty much disappears, and then it'll be pretty much there. All we need to do is then blitz it, just give it a good taste. Hopefully you have a fantastic porcini paste. Okay, so we've come to the end of the cooking of the porcini paste. So as you can see, there's still a little bit of liquid in the bottom of the pan, but it's pretty much all gone. This is the consistency that we're looking for. So as you can see, there's a little bit of liquid in the bottom. Okay, so all we now need to do is just blitz the porcini paste. So we're just going to do it in batches. So this is the texture you're looking for. It's not a complete puree, there's still a little bit of texture in there. If you go too far, it just ends up with a paste, and the finished product just looks like one dimensional, where if you leave it with a little bit of texture in it, it really adds to the pasta dish. Okay, so our porcini paste is now finished. So all we're now going to do is, in a nice clean tub, either put it in a sink full of ice cold water, or if you're lucky enough to have a blast chiller, we'll pop it into a blast chiller. That's your porcini paste ready for service.